Bobby Boy.
7 trips on.
And we're back. Welcome to, what are we calling it now? Tacklecast?
The Tacklecast, yes.
Tacklecast. I'm Drew Ceperley, Bait WrX, joined by always my lovely co-host, Brooke Bilateral.
Not today.
Oh.
Not today.
Oh.
Nope.
Well, go
Brooke
ahead and
is
introduce
nowhere
yourself.
to be seen. My name's Jacob. I've worked at the tackle shop for, I don't know, I think I started in January. And,
Been a minute.
Yep. I mean, I don't work in the tackle shop anymore, but I'm around, so.
You also fish for Drury?
Yep, I fish for Drury. Me and Brock are on the Drury team together, so.
Anybody's curious, he is voted best hair on the Drury bass team.
That's questionable at this
yeah,
point. We got some
no.
good hair game going on the Drury team this year.
No, I talked to Rick. He told me. It's official.
Well, I guess if it's official.
Yep. So anyways, I guess kind of starting out, Jake's been around the block a time or two. Fishing world, get your minds out of the gutter, guys.
Yeah.
So we just kind of, we like to start off with some of the new stuff, and then we get into some of the questions that we've been asked over the week. This week, you're kind of new to Bait WrX. I'm pretty excited about. Storm released the Deep Wiggle Wart. Same body style as the wart, the original, but a bigger bill, deeper diver, as the name implies. One of the things that I'm really excited about is that they have kind of gone back to their old school colors. So this is that V37, the old brown crawl, the Barker Brown. Guys, it's about as close to the original. I mean, guys have been having this color here custom painted for in the last, decade or better. And this old brown crawl is true to form.
Yeah, for sure. I'm really excited that they came out with a deep one. Since the rock crawler came out, it's kind of overshadowed the wiggle wart a little bit. Mm-hmm. And now that they have a deep one, they kind of have a player in that little bit deeper range. And obviously the rock crawler has the 50, but for the most part, especially like for all the people that I know and that I fish with, if you're going to throw the 50, you just get the wiggle wart. And then if you want to go a little bit deeper, you go with the rock crawler. So now there's a little bit, you got both options in the wiggle wart.
Well, and the knock on that deeper wart, and I haven't, or the deeper rock crawler, that original RK55, I haven't fished this deep wart. Like I said, we just got them in. That knock on that original crawler, and the advantage of an old wiggle wart, 4 to 8 foot, maybe able to get 10, depending on your line size out of a wart. But you could throw it in 2 foot of water and grind the thing back and get it back. Long cast, you want to throw it shallow, deep, you can do that. The knock on that rock crawler is it doesn't like to crawl over rocks very well.
Yeah.
I mean, if it says 9 to 14, it's great that you get to that deeper depth range, really can saturate that 12-foot area. But if you tried to throw it shallower, a lot of times it dives at a steeper angle, and it does get hung up more. Where that original wart comes to play, and I think you can throw it shallower and get it back and grind it, and it's a great bait. This one I don't know. If that depth, it's certainly looks like that old body style of wart. It's the same size body. The bill's just a little bigger. I haven't fished it, but I would be interested to see what it does. If your guy throws it a little shallower, if it still can hunt and deflect like an old wart, or if it's going to get you a little more hung up like that rock crawler. Either way. Deeper depth out of the wart, and some of the realer, like this one here is that old brown crawl, like that original. And it's like that original looking pre-wrap color palette. Some of these, that old bone looks like bone. Like I said, brown crawl is brown crawl. This naturalistic brown, or their natural brown, man, they're just good looking colors. Like they kind of came throwing it back old school, if you will. So that's kind of exciting to see.
Yeah, I'm just really excited to get my hands on some and like put them in the situation where they kind of compare them to the rock crawler, because, like I said, everybody's been throwing the rock crawler when they want to get to that 10 to 14 range, and now we have a little bit of competition there. So I'm excited to try them out.
If it's still going to run and hunt like the wart, there's definitely advantage to that big time.
Yeah.
I know all the way back in episode 1, series 1, we mentioned the Valor Shaky Head was about to come out. Well, guess what? I know there's people laying up at night waiting. Well, we got it.
See one of them.
Came out. Yeah. Feast your eyes on that.
That looks good. I really like that head design. I don't know if you guys can see that from where you guys are in the camera, but I really like it's got kind of a dimples on each side, and I think that's going to come through rocks really good.
And that's kind of what it's designed for. Obviously, Ozarks aren't the only fishing hotspot, but
believe it or not,
around here we have a lot of rock. That's our
Yeah.
primary thing, and we kind of went with a shaky head that was designed for that, and I think we've really got it with this shaky head. Spring lock, screw lock style head, 5/0 hook, so you get your gap between your spring and your hook is greater, so you get pretty good hookups. It's not such a big hook that you can't put like a mag finesse or something like that on there. But I'm excited. I think it's gonna be a good one moving forward.
Yeah, that's kind of one thing that I always kind of worry about when throwing a shaky head is with the spring is that gap right there, just because you get that gap too small and then it seems like you lose fish on it. But this one's got a really big gap, really sharp hook, not super heavy wire either.
Right.
You see some of these shaky heads that have just a really super heavy wire hook, and it's hard to get a good hook set in, especially if you're throwing it on a spinning rod or a thicker worm. But yeah, I think this one's gonna be good.
Because we wanted a bait that you could throw if you wanted to throw like a mag finesse, you could. If you wanted to go with a different brand, if you want to go with a Cinco on shaky head, we wanted something that the hook wasn't going to overpower. You didn't have to bulk up your rod and line selection to drive it home. So you can still throw finesse if you want, or you can throw a little bigger profile. It kind of allows you to do that without having to beef everything up in your arsenal.
Yeah, I think that'll be a good one.
Yep, looking forward to throwing that one.
I know we had some questions we had a comment on our last YouTube video, and they wanted to talk about big swim baits, glide baits, things like that. We did, as Drew said in the last video, we did get the KGB Chad Shads in. This is the Banks Special.
It's a Brennan Banks Special right there.
Royal blue on the head, a little bit of baby blue on the back. Looks really good. We also got a black crappie in, and I don't know, how many did we get of those?
We got 100. We got 50 and 50. So we have 50 of the Brennan Banks Special and 50 of the black crappie. By the time this is released, was it Monday?
Yeah,
we will probably be out.
Yeah.
But we want to talk about it because we were going to do a swim bait episode and answer some questions. So while I had them, it was just a good time. Bring it up, show you. Bank Special, new color. I really think down the road, when we get it planned out, the schedule kind of got thrown off this week. But definitely, if you guys don't know, Brennan Banks works for us here at BoatWorks. Just a fantastic swim bait guy.
Smartest swim bait guy that
just
I've talked to.
is dialed. So we're kind of touching right now. We kind of using this as a kind of what we offer in the swim bait world. Not necessarily a how-to, but we will do a how-to and a kind of a dialed swim bait in-depth presentation on that. And Brennan will get him on here and get him going because he's a great asset and a great angler. Really good guy to learn from. He's taught me a lot, and I haven't even been in the water with him, but from rod selection to line selection, it's the stuff I hadn't even thought about. I'm pretty new to it, still haven't done a lot of it. So somebody like that is there's a lot of light bulbs that went off that I was just, oh yeah, well that makes sense.
I didn't even think of that.
Yeah. It's different things. It's such a different world. I'm that guy that, man, if I'm going to fish all day for 5 bites, I'm going down with a jig in my hand.
Yeah.
And I'm still that way. But this, it's just a breath of fresh air to the kind of the industry. It's really popular right now in these glide baits. But anyways, for the time being, at this moment, on January 11th,
at 3:42,
we have Chad Shads in stock.
And
it's kind of a moot point. But anyways, moving forward, I know, guys, we've had some other questions about the Legends. These Chad Shads were dropped off. The Legends were picked up by the painter. So that should be another few weeks, and we'll have Legends back in. Everybody out there that's going to say, oh, man, when you get more Chad Shads, they are on order from KGB. Yeah. So he's been real cool to work with and partner with, and it's been awesome to see the response from you guys. So anyways.
Just for anybody that doesn't know, what's the difference between a Legend and a Chad Shad?
So, perfect. Good question. Chad Shad, 6-inch bait, was 4 ounce?
I think so, yeah.
Legend, 9-inch bait and 6 ounces. So Chad Shad's a little smaller, and this is the smooth side version. The KGB drops are the textured. But legit KGB swim bait, smooth side Chad Shad, 6-inch, 4 ounce. The Legend is 9-inch, 6 ounce. So it's a beefier. I don't have one for size comparison, but it is a beefier swim bait, bigger profile, bigger bait in general. Yep. So,
and just the short time that I've thrown them around and just kind of played with them, they do. I mean, obviously they're different size, but they do act completely different in the water, and you can do so much more with the different, so many different things with the different sizes. Like he said, I don't really have the knowledge that some other people do to kind of talk about that, but Brennan will definitely get on here sometime, and we'll
make that happen. But it was a good segue. KGB Chatch had one of the glide baits that we carry. We also carry kind of the tried and true. I wouldn't say it's the OG.
Yeah, I don't know.
But it was probably the OG for the common angler.
Yeah, it's the first one that I ever threw.
Price point wise,
sure. Yeah.
Shoot, yeah. So we carry the River to Sea S-Waver. This is the 168. We also have the smaller version and the larger version. This is $20.
Yeah, I mean, that's an awesome bait to really just kind of test the waters out with the hard-sided swim baits, just because it's not super expensive. You can get a lot of good action out of it. Nothing super fancy, but
they have some decent colors in it.
I've caught some big fish. I mean, smallmouth and largemouth on that bait. So, I mean, just for the guy that has been seeing the videos at it and hearing about all the hype, that's an awesome one just to kind of dip your toes in the water. And
if you're talking entry level, I mean, because I don't think it's any secret. Chad, that's $200.
Yeah.
If you don't want to get great bait, a lot of action, you can do a lot of stuff with it. If you want to get into the swim bait world, do you need to buy that? Absolutely not.
No,
you've got a lot of options. But so that original S-Waver, that 168, and that's same thing. We were kind of talking about size. You used to think that was a big bait.
Yeah, back then, you grabbed that the first time. It's like, man, wow, I just don't know if I can catch a bass on that. And I mean, you catch everything from 12 inchers to 5 pounders on it.
Right.
And that's just how it is. But it's just the perfect bait to dip your toes in, where you're spending, $20-$25 versus $200.
And then the next step up from there, maybe quality wise, and not being a knock on River to Sea, maybe features would probably be a better way to say it. We also carry the Storm Arashi Glide. Again, we have different colors. One of the cool features of the Arashi that I've liked on it versus the River to Sea, you're in that $40 to $50 price range with the Storm versus the River to Sea there, size wise, but it has swivels on your treble hooks, so they're free spinning, so it's hard for a fish to get leverage to throw it.
Right, because there's a lot of weight there for a fish to throw around.
Yeah, so this bait here in particular is, gosh, what is that? 3 1/8.
Yeah,
over 3 ounce bait. I mean, it is a hefty deal, but it's got good quality hooks. That swivel feature on the trebles is a nice feature. It's hard for that fish to get leverage. Comes with a solid line, good snap on the front, so you get free range of motion out of the nose. Again, I would say maybe a knock on is probably their color selection on that one. If I had a knock on it, you got some solid colors.
But if Brock was here, he would be raving about that color right there.
And Brandon
that's
Polnick,
his favorite color to throw of all time.
Brandon Polnick raves about this color.
Yep. I don't know if it's because he can just see it when he's working it better.
There's something to be said for that.
But he loves that color right there.
That's kind of been the knock, and I don't know if you. Storm Arashi in general, man, they've had some really great baits. That Storm, we were talking earlier today, that Storm Arashi square bill is one of my favorite square bills. Deflects, bounces, everything. And their colors are they're
just weird.
Bizarre.
I know.
Anyway, little side note, do you know what Arashi stands for?
I don't.
It's Japanese for storm.
Oh.
Dropping knowledge bombs.
Nice.
So that kind of, and we have 6 cents. We have 6 cents trace. They're kind of hard to get. I have a couple of residual bluegill colors. Like I said, we have multi. The Storm makes not just a glide; they make a triple jointed bait as well. The swimmer. Thank you. So we have some other options in that hard bait realm. But getting into it, one of the popular ones, without introduction.
Yeah, the Megabass Mag Draft. So this was probably my all-time favorite swim bait, as there's a lot of people that will say that. But there's just so much versatility in this bait. I mean, I caught fish all over the country all year on this bait right here. This, I don't even know what it's called, the whiteback shad. They do make a pearl albino, I think is what it's called.
That's a popular one.
And it's just all white, works a little bit better in dirty water. And then you have the freestyles, which I also really like. And I like to put just a weighted underbelly swim bait hook in it. Sometimes you can get a blade on it. But I really like that one in the summertime. You can just drag it through brush piles, throw it in 20 foot of water. This one, the free or the harness version, you're kind of limited to, I don't know, 8 to 10 foot is about as deep as you can throw it, just because it doesn't sink very fast, and
it's got a lot of lift to it.
Yeah,
I mean it's pre-weighted. You know, that 6-inch mag draft with the harness. What is that, guy? It should 1.25 ounces.
Yeah.
You know, it's hard to. That's it. You know, that freestyle. You know, there's some aftermarket. You can take a big beast hook, and you can add. I mean, they come pre-weighted, but shoot, even Bass Pro sells some aftermarket just clamp-on lead weights that you can clamp onto any wide gap hook. If you want to make that thing an ounce or better,
oh yeah,
you can
get it way down there.
You can get it down there and fish it. Like you said, you can get even hook exposed. You know, big lead head, just a big old jig head. I mean, there's companies out there making them ounce and a quarter.
Yeah.
You know, just that by itself. But the same thing, if you want to get it, like to your talking, even if you want to keep this one, you can get it deeper, or if you want to fish it shallower around heavy cover.
Yep, you can put that weedless hook in there.
In there.
I have noticed that the freestyle compared to the harness bait, if you put just like a 1/4 ounce or like a really light underbelly hook in it, fish it weedless, you can reel it. You can reel it a lot faster. This harness version, if you reel it real slow, it doesn't really have a lot of action. It just kind of moves through the water straight. And then if you reel it too fast, it tends to roll over and just doesn't work right. There's a really certain speed for it. And I found that freestyle, you can reel it a little faster than the harness version.
Right.
And I don't know if that's just because it doesn't have that harness in it, or because you can add a little bit of weight to it and just reel it faster and keep the action going. But it's just something that I've noticed. And then we got the big one and the slightly less big one.
So you 6-inch bestseller, real common. I think I touched on it last week, but just again, we did get a bunch in.
Yep.
Probably going to be pretty hard to come by if you guys are interested in this.
I mean, how long was that shelf empty? 4 or 5
well,
months?
Yeah, I think Megabass's company was out since like last May.
Right.
And then we were out probably from July on.
Yeah.
So not just harping or trying to generate sales, but if guys wanting to get some, stockpile. It's not the bite right this minute, but it will be shortly.
Yeah, I can tell you that I bought 4 of them when they came in, just because I wanted to have them for later.
But then, so the mag draft, a couple other sizes too. You've got 8-inch, and you've got big 10-inch. 10-inch 6 ounces, 8-inch 3 ounces. Whole lot of plastic, and a lot of guys are like, "What on earth would we need that for around here?"
Right. I've actually never thrown the 10-inch.
Yeah, it's a big bait.
I kind of stick to the 6. I have thrown the 8 a few times. But one thing that I noticed, and I was telling Drew this earlier, some guys will grab this 6-inch bait and be like, "Man, how am I ever going to catch a fish on this?" Because they think it's just too big of a bait to throw. But if you go, come to Bait WrX or just find somebody that's got one and just pick up the 10 or the 8 and just look at it for a little bit, and then pick up the 6, you'll be like, "Well, heck, that's not even that big."
Literally we were looking to grab some of these before we started rolling on this podcast here, and literally I was like, almost it was just a 4-inch bait. Literally overlooked it on the counter. It was 6-inch, but it's a dynamite bait, and I don't think there's any secret out anymore in the pothole down there in Hollister and Forsyth area. Guys, it's really just how do you want to do it? If a guy has a tackler, if he wants it, but it's no secret. I mean, there's big stripers being caught.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, so we might not be in Texas and have double-digit largemouth like you're getting at Fork and OHIV and stuff like this, or in California where they're just raised to eat big trout like this. But we do have Taneycomo that is home to brown trout that eat stalker-sized rainbow trout this size, as well as largemouth in there. Don't get me wrong, but there's giant brown trout in there. Lower part of the white below Bull Shoals. This is a snack for a lot of fish in there. Also, but pothole down there on Bull Shoals at the tailwaters of Taney, there's no secret. Giant stripers eat giant rainbow trout.
Oh, yeah.
I've eaten trout this size on plenty of backpacking trips.
Yeah.
And the thought that, it's not unusual, 40 plus pound stripers, swim bait like that. We've got you covered if some guy wants to go down there feeling froggy and wants to tangle with one of those big old fish.
Yeah, that'd be a ride for sure.
Absolutely. So don't, man, where would we ever throw that around here? Well, you have options.
Right.
You really do.
And I know that I talked about this white color and the 2 white colors, but when the water gets really clear, like I was at Bull Shoals one day and I could see the bottom in 17 foot. But when the water gets really clear, I actually like this rainbow trout color. And I don't know if it's just kind of a Bull Shoals thing or White River thing, but it seems like when that water is just super gin clear, that white one kind of, they'll come up and follow, but when they get close to it, they just, swim off. And that trout color, they really just tank the whole time. And I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's, like I said, the White River or if it's just clear water in general. But when the water's super clear, I like that trout color.
No, and I forget who it was. I don't think it was Oliver Knight. Might have been. Somebody out here can correct me. But I was starting to study and get into the swim bait thing a little more. Just from a retailer side, just to be informed and know what to tell you guys. As it's a lot of fun to fish. Yeah. But I can't remember who said it and where I read it. But it was one gentleman in particular was like, swim bait fishing all over the country, one color rainbow trout.
I think that was Matt Allen on Tactical Bassin.
Might have been. I think you're right. Yeah. I think you are right. But it was, same thing, guys. We have a high functioning brain capacity. Most of us anglers do. Sometimes. Yeah. Been guilty of a few brain farts here or there on the water. But that fish is what? Brain size that big?
Yeah.
Like it has a predatory response. It gets triggered. It sees like a cat. Something swims by it. It's going to react to it. Sometimes, like even in clear water, it's not stopping to think that it's never seen a rainbow trout in its life, or it doesn't eat on rainbow trout. Rainbow trout is a fishy color.
It is.
Is some shad in the country, have different color hues in it. Trout have different color hues. Bluegill have different. It's not necessarily bluegill shape, but again, it's a bait fish response or predatory response that is triggering that fish, and they're not stopping to think, man, I don't know, that doesn't have a peach belly on it like a sexy shad or that chartreuse stripe down it.
And the when the chatterbait came out and the whopper plopper, something that a fish has never seen before. Yep. So that might be something to do with it too. So just something a little bit different than what everybody else has got. That
trout, I just think it's a good natural color. No matter what part of the country you're in, whether they've seen it or not, the color, even in hard baits, it's just something that gets bit, and you don't have to have trout in your water. That being said, don't think we're just talking about the 10-inch. They make it in the 6-inch freestyle. They make it in an 8-inch. They make it in their 6-inch harness.
Yep.
You have that option. River to Sea has a great one, the light trout color.
They have a couple different trout options.
That light trout's one of their best-selling colors since the day they've come out with it. I was out on the shelf. Ergo, still a popular one.
Yeah.
But that's kind of some options on that. I don't know how we keep looking at your clock.
Oh, no, I had a phone call, but
phone call.
They'll be all right.
Oh.
They can wait till later.
It's Friday night. You got plans? Or
it was my mom.
Oh,
but
lovely woman. Tell mama said hi.
I will.
That's neat. But so I'm trying to think. We have Kitex as well to get back on topic. We've a lot of swim baits.
Yeah, we've pretty much got the swim bait covered from the 2.8 Kitex to the. You guys kind of touched on that last time. Yeah. But all the way up to the 10-inch mag drafts and some hard bodies. One that we didn't bring in that I think looks really good is that Megabass eye slide. I know we're kind of focused on
limited. And I'm limited on some of my color selection. I obviously, make that 135. They make a 185 and then a 262, which is their big one. That 262 is a phenomenal looking bait. That's one that won Big Bass Bash a couple of years ago by Oliver Nye on that one when he just happened to be in town and was like, I think I can win this thing.
Yeah.
And then he did it. And then I think some people were mad, but the fact is big fish eat big baits.
Yep.
And that's who had the advantage? A guy that had never laid eyes on a lake before?
Actually, probably.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. We all put our blinders on and we get so focused. And here comes this guy and he goes, oh, well, this reminds me of such and such, and throws a bait and catches a big fish and wins half a million dollars.
Yeah.
It's that easy. Anybody can do it.
Right.
But that eye slide, that 262 is an awesome looking bait, and especially to get you into. So if this is $200 on that eye slide, that 262 is $95.
Right.
So you think Megabass, it's going to be expensive.
And it's bigger than that one too. So.
It's a bigger body. The 185 would be more to that size, and I'm pretty limited. I've got an order out and should be getting some in. A 135 is actually going to be roughly close to that size, and it's $40 as well. Get you into that range. but that the 262, Mega Bass just has some outstanding colors on their hard baits. I mean, they're 110s. That's what sets them apart from the rest of the industry. But one of the reasons I thought about that 262, but the only color I have it in is a black Hasu.
Yeah.
And it'd be really hard to see. And it's black, it's blue, it's got a purple belly. I mean, it's almost a work of art. Like I almost wouldn't want to fish it.
Yeah, it's almost something that you just buy and just put in the case.
But they've got, they have some really absolute fish catching colors too.
Yeah, they do.
And again, I'm pretty limited on stock now, but we do have some on order. So that's run the gamut from, gosh, even if you A-ray trailers, you got Swim and Fluke Juniors.
Yeah, I mean,
Raider Swim and Fluke.
Like I said, we pretty much have the swim bait game locked up with just about anything.
Big Bite Pro Swimmers, Rage Swimmers.
We got the Zoom paddle tails. I mean, just about everything. Yep. But you got anything else?
Yeah, I think we've touched on. I mean, I hope we've touched on our swim bait selection.
Yeah,
which is kind of
not necessarily knowledge, but
because knowledge. I'll be honest, I'm not your guy, but I know a guy.
Yeah, that's right.
So, but I think moving forward, when schedules can align, and Brennan's not waist deep in a boat, wiring up your electronics, which he's also fantastic at. We'll get him on here, and we can actually get some more how-to, and that kind of leads into some more responses. So we've kind of touched on the swim baits, what we carry, what we offer, price points, color. If you're interested, more how-to tips, give us some questions. Equipment, if you want interested in what it takes to throw some of this stuff, fire us some of those how-to questions. That'll be a really good segue. We can get Brennan in here and really drop some juice on that topic because,
I mean, really, kind of going off the swim bait thing, just anything. I mean, we might not have the knowledge ourselves, but there's somebody around here that can tell you what you need to know.
Yeah.
So just any question, anything you guys want to hear about, just let us know.
Even if you want to come in, I mean, by all means, reach out to us on social media, and we'll give us some ideas for future podcasts because that's kind of what it's about, and it's fun listening to your guys' comments and questions and that interaction. But if you want to talk swim baits, come in the shop. I can grab Brock, I can grab Jacob, I can grab myself and regurgitate the stuff these guys have thrown them or have told me about it. So let us know. We'll get Brendan, whatever. We can get fixed up. So, anyways, Jacob,
that's about all I got. Like I said, we like to keep you guys informed on what's coming in and what's going out. He kind of talked about the wiggle wart earlier, but we'll kind of keep you up to date on what we got in stock, what we got coming in.
Fresh.
But really, we just want. What do you guys want to know? Like, ask us questions, drop
keep
comments.
Them coming. Yeah. It's been awesome.
Yep. It makes it easier on us to know what we have something to talk about. So.
Anyways, thanks for watching, everyone out there, and look forward from hearing from you. Thank you.
See ya.